Do you ever find yourself hankering for some pizza and you're also hankering for some Cajun? Well, today, my friends, we're going to make some Jambalaya Flatbread. Stay tuned. Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. Let's get to making that incredible flatbread. So we'll start off with a roll of Just Roll brand puff pastry. I know there's a bunch of different brands of puff pastry out there, but this really works for what we're doing today. So if you can find this, and I know Walmart carries it, my local Safeway carries it, my local Kroger's carries it, so should be pretty easy to find. I'm going to roll this out on a sheet of parchment paper, just to make our life easier. Now right now my oven is preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit with a baking sheet in there. I want to get that baking sheet warmed up too to make sure I get the bottom of this good and crispy. Now we're going to cut the edges of this about 1.25 inches so we can build ourselves some curbs. A 1/4 inch. I think I said 1.25 inches. 1/4 inch. Now we'll put those curbs up on the larger sheet, giving us curbs. It makes sense to me.
Oh, well, allow me to retort.
Now we'll trim off anything that's hanging over the edge so it's nice and pretty. And there is what we are left with. Now we'll take a fork and perforate the heck out of the middle, not touching the curbs, to keep that part from puffing up. Now, as soon as our oven comes to temperature, I'm going to lay this parchment sheet on that baking sheet, and we're going to par bake this for 10 minutes. So when that's happening, let's get over to the stove and get the toppings ready to go. Puff pastry's in the oven, pre-baking, so let's get the innards going, or the toppings. So in a cast iron skillet on medium-high heat, we're going to chuck some olive oil. That was avocado oil. Olive oil. Couple tablespoons. And as always, worry not, my friends. The full recipe, there's a link for it down in the description section. Take you right to galleyofthesun.com and you'll see the whole recipe. Once that oil starts to shimmer, in goes our meats. So, andouille sausage. And if you're using raw chicken, it's going to go in right now. I just happened to make chicken enchiladas yesterday, so I smoked a bunch of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I have one here that's diced up. So I'm going to wait a little bit to put this in. Had it not already been cooked, it would go in now, so it can soak up those rendered fats and flavors from the andouille sausage. Now I realize the andouille sausage is already cooked. This is Hillshire Farms brand. I'm just trying to get a little bit of browning on it. A little extra flavor. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You're damned right.
I'm also going to hit them with a little bit of Cajun seasoning. You can use Tony Chachere's, you can use whatever you want. Cattleman's Grill makes a very good one, Cajun Fusion that we use a lot of time. Today I'm using Spiceology's Thunderdust, their general purpose Cajun seasoning. I've been letting those sausage brown on one side for about 3 minutes. Now I'm going to add my chicken. And my shrimp. I know what the recipe says, but I got extra jumbo shrimp. So I took those and I basically butterflied them, cut them into 2 pieces lengthwise. So they're going in. And you'll know this is all done when the shrimp are done. And especially the way I cut them, it's not going to take long. Going to hit them with a little more Thunderdust to make sure the shrimp gets seasoned. And my shrimp are 80 to 90% of the way done. Now I'm going to pull all those meats out of the pan. Because remember, they're going to cook more in the oven on the flatbread. I am using a slotted spoon because I want to leave all of that rendered fat and those seasonings behind. So it'll flavor our veggies, our red bell pepper and onion. We're going to hit that with a little more seasoning. And we're going to cook these about 3 to 5 minutes until they're good and soft. All right, our par-baked flatbread is out of the oven. We got that set aside, waiting for the toppings. Now I'm going to add in some rings of jalapenos. I have got all the seeds out of these, so they're not going to be super hot, but they'll put a little zing into things. And now that I'm feeling I'm about a minute away from pulling this off the heat, in goes the garlic. In about a minute when I take those off the heat, it'll be time to construct the flatbread. So we'll see you back over at the counter. Let's get to constructing. First goes down the sauce. So I love Bonta brand pizza sauce. It's actually the base for the sauce that Dion's Pizza in Albuquerque, New Mexico uses, and I absolutely love their freaking pizza. And it's a good, super thick sauce, so really works well when you don't want a lot of moisture in your sauce. So we'll lay this down and get that spread out to the edges. Then we're going to hit that with a little bit more of that thunder dust. Next goes a light layer of cheese of the mozzarella type. Then goes our veggies. I'm going to put the jalapenos on there first to make sure they're evenly distributed. Then goes our onions, peppers, and garlic. Then our meats. I'm putting the shrimp on first because I know that I took 8 of them, so I have 16 pieces, so get those evenly distributed. Then our sausage and chicken. Okay, so if you're like me and you find that you have some extra toppings together, you got some options. You can mix the meat and the vegetables together and eat that with some steamed rice. That would be incredible. Or if you have a big-ass tortilla, lay your tortilla down, hit it with a little bit of sauce, and then put the rest of your toppings on it. Probably what I'm going to do. Back to this flatbread. Now we're going to hit it with a top layer of mozzarella. And that's going back into the 400-degree oven for about 10 minutes or until the cheese is melted and you're happy with the looks of your crust. So we'll see you in a little bit when it's time for judgment from the director. All right, the flatbread is out of the oven, garnished with a little bit of parsley. Now, the only thing in the house hotter than a cayenne pepper, the director. She's going to eat like a civilized person. How'd we do?
Very good.
Does it have any fire to it?
No.
Maybe she didn't get a jalapeno. Okay, does it speak Cajun to you?
Yes.
All right, there we go.
It's definitely got the Cajun taste.
Hopefully she'll find a bite with a jalapeno soon. But we're not going to wait for her because it's time for the rest of us to eat. So you ought to make this. Do you think they should make this?
They should definitely make this.
All right, there you go. Trust the director. I do. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.